you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. Starting late on the live, but I had other stuff to do today. So let me start with this. Hey, thank you to everybody that have supported this incredible cause to allow these young people whose parents are incarcerated through Angel Tree and Prison Fellowship to attend the Angel Tree summer camp. Our goal is 250 kids. I think we're over 100 kids, 110 kids right now. So we're halfway there. I want to encourage you that this is your opportunity to bless somebody else. I do firmly believe that if you want to be a blessing or you want to have blessings in your life, you got to bless others. And for those of you, and this is not for everybody, for those of you who have that burning desire in your heart to say, I want to give back and I want to do something to help young kids who are not privileged to be able to attend a camp like this because their parent is incarcerated, here's your opportunity. It costs about $200 to sponsor one kid. However, the beauty of crowdfunding and the beauty of doing this together as a community and a channel is that you don't have to give the full $200. If you have $50, $20, $30, $5, $2, whatever you can give will be greatly appreciated for these young people. And I'm just believing that we're going to reach our goal. I think this is the last week that we are campaigning. And so if you want to be a blessing, here's the opportunity. And also, I think we're going to give my family, we're going to give $2,000 and then we're going to do a price match. So anybody that want to match $2,000, let us know. Maybe we'll do something cool for those like we did the last time. We actually went to dinner. I just had the dinner with one of the guys who supported us in that campaign like 2 days ago. So anyway, if you want to give, link is in the description section. It's also in the chat actively right now since we're live. But let's talk about the craziest take I've ever heard in my life when it comes to Carmelo Anthony. This take that I'm about to show you is the craziest thing I ever heard. Like how is Dr. Umar Johnson even on the internet at this point? And I'm not saying he's on the internet, meaning that he should be not allowed to have a voice, but they counsel people for much less. Not one person should give a head nod to what Dr. Umar Johnson said. However, there is tons of people in the chat. I would argue most people in the chat of this video agreed with him. They agreed with him. And so I want to play this clip so you can hear. And I want to warn you, this is pretty disturbing, right? I mean, some of y'all are probably going to fall out your chair. I know I thought I heard it all. Roll the clip.
Now, when white kids bully black kids, they're going to have to think twice now, Art. Carmelo Anthony should be honored. Not for taking nobody's life. We don't honor death. We never do that. But for having the courage to stand up to two white bullies who are much bigger than him. Rest in peace to Hunter, who I believe lost his life.
It wasn't Hunter.
Because he had the courage to stand up to two bullies. Now, every black kid in America who's being bullied by white kids, those white kids are now going to think twice about what they're doing. Because if you keep it up, when you back somebody into a corner with fear and concern for their safety, it might not work out for you. And I can tell you, Art, as a certified school psychologist,
you should lose your cert.
Works in schools. When white children bully black children, nothing is done about it. Let me say that again. When white kids bully black kids, nothing is done about it. There is a white privilege in America's public schools. There's a white privilege in America's charter schools. There's a white privilege in America's independent schools. For all we know, and I'm not going to put this on them, but for all we know, Hunter and Austin could have a history of bullying black kids. And it finally caught up to them.
Keep him on there. I need people to see the clown. What in tarnation is he talking about? Umar Johnson said that Carmelo Anthony should be celebrated. And you can't put a caveat on it. That's like saying Hitler should be celebrated, or not for what he did to the Jews. He should be No, when you celebrate him, you're celebrating everything he did. Okay. Carmelo should be celebrated, projecting that he was being bullied. How do you get bullied in a situation where you ain't supposed to be? That's like somebody coming and breaking into my house and me kicking them out of my house is me bullying them. How do you bully a person when you ain't supposed to be there? If anything, Carmelo was bullying them. But he claimed that he should be celebrated in the black community because he had the courage to throw his life away. This is how the Negro thinks, the modern Negro. On the old school, we used to be smart and everything. We used to be, we were a threat to America. We were going to take over this country probably. But the Negro, the modern Negro, this is how they think. Model your behavior after a kid that threw his life away for nothing. You get to a tent that's not yours. Somebody say, man, get up out the tent. This ain't your team tent. All right, bro, I'm out. Sorry. Or if you ain't sorry, you just get up out the tent. Now you can sit in the tent and they start charging you, being like, let me get out the tent before I force you out. I don't want no confrontation. I'm at a track meet. It's their tent. Why do I care? I could go to another tent. I'm not going to have a confrontation with people when I'm in the wrong. But the mind of the melanin says, nah, bro, evade all of your future success, evade everything your grandma taught you, and you stand up to the kids because they white. Not because they right or wrong, because they white. This is what Umar is saying. And pull a knife out of bag and stab a kid in the heart, kill him over a tent dispute. This is what Umar says should be honored. When somebody's bullying you, you walk away. If they back you in a corner, like you're in a bathroom and they got you in the bathroom, you probably got to fight your way out of it. He wasn't backed in a corner. You can't be backed in a corner under somebody's tent at a track meet. But if somebody is trying to bully you at a track meet, you just walk away. When somebody is bullying you at a track meet, won't you tell authorities, tell the teachers, because they are the ones that they're better suited to deal with the issue beyond what you're capable of. You don't use deadly force against somebody who's just talking to you. According to reports, they didn't know each other. So how is the first instance of meeting somebody bullying somebody? A bully is somebody who has a relationship with a person, and a relationship in a way in which you can then control the relationship through leveraging them by bullying. When you don't know somebody, it's almost hard or impossible to bully them because there is no connection or relationship. You don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. There is no connection to a certain degree in order for you to feel bullied by somebody. Now, somebody can try to punk you, but it's impossible for somebody to punk you when you are already wrong. Show up in the club and the bouncer kick you out and you call him a bully. Well, no, you're not supposed to be in there anyway. You going over your baby mama house when she got a restraining order and the police officer come there and put you in the back of the car. Is he bullying you? No, you in the wrong, bruh. But the asinine, I want to call it the asinatical. I'm making my own words. The asinatical statement he made. Maybe his asinine is good enough, right? But I want to go to the comment section of this post. Nick, can we pull up the comment section? We'll try to pull up the comment section because I want you guys to see, which you've already saw, how ridiculous his statement was. And I want you guys to see how ridiculous it is that people who are supporting his statement. So if you ever thought to yourself, you know, man, black people, they don't, just wait a minute. We'll get the clip up for you. Because Umar Johnson is insane for what he said. And I'll say this, you will never on the internet or in person ever hear a white person defending a white person like this. Show me a situation where a white kid who was under somebody else's tent or doing something he shouldn't have been doing, killed somebody, and the black community is supporting it. All right. We'll put it up, and I'll show you because obviously the first comment is mine. And I want to show you what this foolery looked like. All right, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's huge on my screen. But I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says, my comment was bullies, ? Leave my tent is bullying. Now he's encouraging black boys to throw their lives away for nothing. I got 66 likes on that. I got a couple comments. Let's see what people said. We should never defend murder. He was so tough, then he should have thrown hands. I agree, whoever this is. Now he has to spend the rest of his life in the criminal system, 100%. Almost made you wonder if he given a F about his own people, doesn't it? Yeah, we know. Oh boy, don't care. So these are just people that commented on mine. Now let's look at the comments. Well said. Somebody with good common sense says, this is sick and weird. I'm sorry, but bringing a weapon to attract me is wrong, which is a white person. See, let me just say this. A bunch of these comments that are positive came in after I commented. A lot of people start seeing the post. Let's see. Encourage the weapon. See, a lot of these people then came in here and got common sense. As you can see, they white. When I looked at this the first time, all these black people in there talking crazy as a mud. And now that I shared it on my comment thing, I think a bunch of people jumping in here and saying something. Yeah, because the first comment said that they agreed with him. And I was looking at these comments and all of them was crazy. All right, never mind. I guess I waited too late to comment on it because now that I shared it and people have been sharing it, a lot of people have been coming in here and disagreeing. Unfortunately, the people that make sense are the white people in the comment section. There was a couple of black people that I think were in there that made sense, but regardless of that, the truth of the matter is this. It is asinine to think like that, although a lot of people think like him. The young man was wrong. He threw his life away over nothing. The moral of the story, no matter what color you are, no matter where you came from, is that if you get into an altercation, anybody would tell you avoid the altercation if possible, at all means necessary. Avoid the confrontation. Now, if you have nowhere else to go and you're defending your life or defending the life of somebody else, then that may be a time and a place for you to take action. But if somebody's just talking to you, walk away. If somebody's if you wrong, admit you wrong, walk away. Don't be like him and spend the rest of your life in prison because I don't know. I'll tell you this and I'm moving on. Really what happened here is that this kid is probably a racist or have racial tendencies. And he got extra offended that these white boys was doing that to him. This is my theory. I don't know if to be true, but I've been black my whole life and I grew up in a black neighborhood. And these are the type of things that how we used to think. If it was some other black kids, I don't think the confrontation would have gone like this. But since they were white, he wanted to say, white boy ain't gonna talk to me like that. Not in front of everybody, or punk me in front of everybody. No, I'm gonna do something. And when he did it, looking at Black Lives Matter and all these idiots who fake lawyers on television and on Instagram, he somehow think he a lawyer. See, they touched me and I had a chance to. Well, touching you does not necessitate a use of deadly force. These street lawyers and all this other stuff that be online are lying and they're ignorant and they're dumb. They don't know what's going on. And so they're going to lead you right off a cliff. And I think that's what happened to him. He really, really thought that if somebody touch him, because somebody probably told him that, let him touch you and then it's on. Somebody touch you, you can kill him. It don't work like that. All right, let's go to the next story that I want to bring up. Donald Trump pardoning people. Now, I'm going to let Scott Jennings speak on this because we got the clip of Scott Jennings. But my initial inertia, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about Trump because I need Trump to pardon the person that I need him to pardon. But, like, I think I was shocked. Like Larry Hoover, NBA YoungBoy, I was shocked because I can't play his music on here because it will get banned. But NBA YoungBoy, literally one of his most popular songs is him talking about running down and shooting black men. Walk down, walk on with the heat. It's something like that. Walk down on him with the heat. And then he sound like he crying and drunk and high at the same time every time he rap. Walk down, walk on with the heat. I saw him in an interview and he was geeking. I was like, that's sad. Now he may have changed and became a better man, but his music is terrible. Nick, can you do this for me? Wow, let me. I'm gonna do it because I know you're doing a lot of stuff over there. I'm gonna go NBA young boy popular song lyrics. I'm just gonna read it right off of here. NBA young boy popular song lyrics. No smoke. I can't even read it. I can't even read it, bruh. Let's see. I can't put it on the screen. It's got so many N-words in here. I can't say some of this. There's too many cuss words. I can't say it. But there's one that he talking about walk down, hit him with the heat. I heard that somebody's playing it on a video. Anyway, y'all can go look it up on your own time because some of this is so raunchy. I probably get banned. I'm not saying all his songs are like that, but it's crazy. Let's get back to the subject at hand. And the other pardon, Larry Hoover and the pastor and the pastor them. Who is this? Let me find them right here. Todd and Julie Chrisley, convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud, $30 million in fake loans. Okay, Scott Jennings, maybe he got a better take on it. Roll the clip.
You know, this was on like the 100th day or so in office, and I could tell he had some frustration with some of the Republicans he'd met in Washington about their lack of enthusiasm for cutting spending. And everybody says they want to do it until you're given a chance to do it. In this particular,
and then it gets hard.
Yeah, I mean, in this particular case, I think you can actually do both because of the way the rules of the Congress work. They can't actually do the discretionary piece in the reconciliation bill. They have to do a rescissions package. And my understanding is the Speaker of the House wants to do it.
I think I got the wrong clip. I think I got the wrong clip. All right. So let's go to the clip of Todd and Julie. Were they pastors? Oh, they were in a reality TV show. But I think they had some connection with the church or something like that. Maybe not. Here's Todd and Julie Chrisley. Roll the clip.
What are you trying to get me to do?
Fill that muscle.
Oh, yeah, fill the muscle. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard.
Todd's jacked.
His face purposefully hidden, and the taste of freedom all around him, a soda, Milano cookies, granola bars nearby. This is the first glimpse of Todd as he and his daughter Savannah celebrated his first moments of freedom in 2.5 years.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard.
Todd's jacked.
The New York Post reports this photo is Todd reunited with his wife, Julie, both sprung from their respective slammers after they got a pardon from Donald Trump.
Your parents are going to be free and clean.
Decked out in pink and dubbed MAGA Barbie by some online, Savannah sang the president's praises.
I will forever be grateful that we have an administration that is reuniting families.
And on the ride home, Savannah could hardly contain her excitement.
We're getting home. Guys, I puked the whole way. I've got Todd over here being dramatic.
We're not normal. There's no normal in this house.
A flamboyant reality show couple. Todd and his wife, Julie, were sentenced to separate prisons after their 2022 convictions for bank fraud and tax evasion.
Day 129.
On her podcast, Savannah read this letter that her mom wrote her from behind bars.
This is the first anniversary,
Hold on.
Todd and I.
You know, I once upon a time, I thought that you had to be like a person who was wrongly convicted, or you had to be in prison for political purposes for somebody to give you a pardon or a commutation. I didn't know you just got to know somebody that knows somebody. I'm kind of confused here. In the chat, can y'all help me? I'm really not trying to be mean to Trump. Maybe y'all know something I don't know. But these people were convicted in 2022 of bank fraud and tax evasion. They were found guilty of defrauding banks out of over $30 million by submitting false documents and hiding income to avoid taxes. What happened here? And now I don't know. Maybe I should look this up. Maybe I'm wrong. What is this? Let me go back to some other people. Let me go some other people that he pardoned that I thought about, and then I'm gonna talk about Brett Hankinson real quick, or the police officer in Derek Chauvin's case, not Derek Chauvin, but the other ones. Hold on, let me go down the list on these people. All right, let's see who he pardoned. Michael Grimm, he's a former New York congressman guilty of tax fraud. John Rowland, former Connecticut governor, guilty of corruption and hiding political consulting work. Scott Jenkins, former Virginia sheriff, took over $75,000 in bribes to appoint deputy sheriffs. James Callahan, former union president, took $315,000 in kickbacks and filed false reports. Todd and Julie Chrisley, the reality show people that defrauded the banks of $30 million. NBA YoungBoy, felony in possession of a firearm. Who else are you going to let out with that crime? Because I can probably name a couple people I know right now doing time for that. They going to just get out? Like, you know, I don't know. Our research says that the reason it was 23 months of federal gun charge was involved in a Utah prescription drug fraud case, which was a plea deal and was weeks away from scheduled release. So at the end of it, he got released. NBA YoungBoy. He got a tour coming out called Make America Slime Again. Walk down, walking with the heat. That's how he rap. I heard some of this stuff, man. I want to play it so y'all know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy. Huh? I don't know what that song called. Walking with the Heat or something. Walk 'em down. I mean, he rapping about killing other young black men in cold blood. Like, I just don't understand why it's celebrated like that. And he gets a pardon. Okay, let's go to Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover, gang leader. Many would say Larry Hoover is responsible for like hundreds of people dying. Larry Hoover, gangster disciples, got life in prison for murder and having a drug empire. Now, a drug empire, now we take her off the screen, but a drug empire means that there are people who work under him that are selling drugs to who? Black people. Larry Hoover was over Gangster Disciples, a gang organization where hundreds of people were killed and hundreds of people were thousands probably using drugs, turning into zombies in the black community. Federal sentence commuted, still held on state charges. So he may not get out of prison, but like, what is the gesture here? Okay. Mark Brashaw, or maybe it's Brashaw, Army officer punished for refusing COVID-19 rules. Okay, I could get with that one, right? Well, COVID-19, that was a fraud anyway. I think that's a good one. Kevin Basden, convicted of fraud, details not fully public. So I'm not gonna hold that against him. But like, I saw a couple people on here, and I'm not saying Trump won't pardon other people, but I saw a couple people on here, and I think there's more people I'd like to add. If some of these people can get off, I'd like to add a little more, if you don't mind. One being all these officers that were involved in Derek Chauvin's case with George Floyd, except Chauvin, none of them should be convicted on the federal level at all. And any of them who they pursued federal charges against should be commuted immediately or pardoned immediately. Brett Hankinson from the Breonna Taylor case. I don't know if you guys know or remember who he is. I made a video about it. But Brett, after Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot Sergeant Mattingly in the leg, it could have killed him. He almost died. He falls down in the doorway. Shots are exchanged. Brett is shooting into the house to protect the other officers that are what he believes is getting into a gunfight with somebody. No bullet hit anybody. I don't know what is the drywall a victim? The bullets hit the drywall. Didn't hit Breonna. Didn't hit a neighbor. Didn't kill anybody. Didn't cause substantial property damage. He was acquitted on state level charges. And somehow they're pursuing federal charges against Brett Hankinson, saying that he violated Breonna Taylor's civil rights. I didn't know that you can violate somebody's spirit because Breonna Taylor was dead. How did he violate a dead woman's civil rights when he didn't even touch her? He made zero contact with her. I don't even think he saw her and she saw him. And he could spend the rest of his life in prison with no possibility of parole if convicted. Every other officer involved in Breonna Taylor's case were all acquitted on state charges, were all acquitted federally. The ones that were right there. There was a couple idiots that falsified some documents on a search warrant, which they had probable cause to do it. They added some extra stuff on there. I hope they burn in hell. So not them. I'm talking about the ones who were physically at the door executing the warrant. None of them were charged federally. So why is Brett Hankinson being charged? It's a witch hunt. They're out to get the man. They're trying to get somebody in that Breonna Taylor case. And because he was shooting and it was negligent, according to them, somehow he violated her civil rights. Not the officers who shot and killed her, but the one who shot and missed her. The ones who killed her didn't get in trouble. The one who missed her got in trouble. So Trump, can you add Brett Hankinson, the officers in Chauvin's case? Don't add Chauvin because he deserved everything he getting for being stupid and really putting everybody. Listen, if I was there, I would have had George Floyd down and I'd have held him down. And my rookies would have been on his legs and I would have been done with it. I'd have just put my hand on him. One knee on his back, one hand on him, or just my knee on the ground, my hand on him. And then when he said, I can't breathe, I'm dying, I'm dying, I would have been like, yeah, he a crackhead. He probably took some crack before he did this. And all these people are watching me. If this mofo die, I'm going to jail. So let me act like I care, even if I didn't. Now, I personally would have cared. Because I don't care if you're a crackhead or not. It ain't got nothing to do with me. That's on between you and God. I'm here to serve and do my part. I'd have rolled him over on his side, man, and been like, hey, man, let's check on him. You good? Like, let's make sure he don't die right here. He only tried to use fake money. He wasn't a murderer. He wasn't doing nothing crazy. He's a crackhead. Like, nobody would have went to jail that day if I was there, or 90% of police officers in America. Like, this dude caused so much problems, so much turmoil in America that he don't deserve to get out. Even if fentanyl Floyd, his biggest contributing factor was that he OD'd, that's so be it. Fentanyl Floyd got what's coming to him, and Chauvin needs to get what's coming to him. Because I honestly believe, and I know for a fact, I put my life on it, if Derek Chauvin would have rolled him into a recovery position, we wouldn't be talking about George Floyd today. George Floyd wouldn't exist. He may have still been dead, but it wouldn't have been because of Derek Chauvin. It wouldn't have been a 17-minute video with the dude laying on the top of his neck, watching him die, listening to him die. He actually died, and he still sat on his neck. When George Floyd took his last breath, Chauvin still didn't get off of him. When he urinated himself after he had died, Chauvin still didn't get off of him. Chauvin didn't even look at him. What kind of example is that as a police officer? You got a kid on his legs. You got another kid on his back. He got handcuffs on, and he on crack. Like, what's he gonna do? If he get up, slap him in the top of his head. What he gonna do, man? I put my life right now. First of all, you got to be on PCP to somehow get up from your stomach with your hands behind your back. And if somebody laying on your legs, it's impossible. You can't move. You have no leverage here. And somebody's on your legs, so you can't move your legs. That means you can't get up. And if you can't roll on your side, you can't roll on your butt and stand up. It's impossible for you to fight with your hands behind your back and people on your legs. So why is Chauvin on his neck with never even looking at him? I know, Nick, you tired of me talking about him. I don't know why people argue with me. They still argue with me to this day. Even people in the comment section, no, he died from it. He died from drugs. Well, no, he died from Chauvin and drugs. I'm telling you right now, if that was your family member up under that cop, no matter if they was a crackhead or not, you'd be like, bro, you tripping. You could at least roll them over. You could at least act like you cared. Bro, you just let the man die and didn't give a thing. And all these people watching you just let him do it, just in front of everybody. Just looking stupid. Well, you ain't even doing nothing. You what you should have done is say, hey, man, y'all got him. Let me make sure they don't bombard us. Let me make sure they don't jump on us. Y'all keep a hold of them. I don't like Chauvin. I hope he rot in prison, to be honest. Anyway, we got Scott Jennings clip. Roll it.
I agree. It's being done out in the open. It's being done in the light of day. We're not doing it at the 11th hour here or as we're on our way up to the Capitol to see the next president being sworn in. And I might add, I don't think there's any doubt who's actually signing these pardons. You know, at the end of Biden's term, we had thousands of people that were pardoned or offered some kind of clemency for drug offenses. I have my doubts about whether Joe Biden signed all of those. And there's obviously, because of the new books that are out, clear reporting here that there was something of a Politburo running the White House at the end of the Biden administration when many of the most controversial pardons were issued. So in this case, Donald Trump, I think, is fully owning all of these decisions. And I agree with Ellie. In the Grimm case, if for no other reason than this paralysis that he suffered and the fact that he'd paid his debt, I think it's a defensible decision.
And in fact,
all right. So I heard Scott Jennings give that take. The Grimm case, he's talking about guilty of tax fraud. underreporting restaurant income. Now, see, stuff like that they could be just out to get you, right? I mean, but $30 million of fraud on your taxes, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot of money, bro. I don't think the government have to get you when you were found guilty of doing that. What it makes me feel like is that somebody that said, you're not running again, Trump. Just give a pardon to everybody. You know, I kind of think the NBA YoungBoy and Larry Hoover was strategic to get black people vote. Because NBA YoungBoy is major. And so who is NBA YoungBoy going to thank? He's going to thank Trump. So all the black ignorants that follow NBA YoungBoy are going to be like, oh, Trump, man, Trump pardon NBA YoungBoy. People been saying free Larry Hoover for 100 years now. Every rapper that I have ever heard of been saying free Larry Hoover. So now all the rap community and all Jay-Z and everybody else that got songs out here saying free Larry Hoover, who freed Larry Hoover? None of your Democrat people. So I think Trump strategically did the Larry Hoover thing. All right. Comment in the comment section. Let me know, man. Maybe you're tripping. I know that if I say anything that ain't like kissing Trump's butt, I know people get mad at me. Do I got negative comments? Oh, we ain't looking at them. I just know people be doing that. They be like, Trump, you turned on Trump. It's like, no, these pardons are kind of weird. And I just don't like the way it looked. Because I think the Democrats did far worse, but still, I mean, we shouldn't be doing like them. All right, let's see. Which one? What was that other one we were going to do? Air Force. All right, let's do this Air Force situation. Air Force, a young lady actively in the Air Force. And let me just say this before we start. She won't get a T-shirt. She won't get a GoFundMe. She has one, but she ain't going to get no money on it. How much money she got on that GoFundMe? Oh, she was in the military. How much money she got on GoFundMe? She got $40,000. All right, go pull a GoFundMe up. Let's Huh? So as of right now, the family of this young girl who died, who was in the Air Force, her GoFundMe is at $40,000. So let's not worry about it. It's at like $40,000. So when I say she ain't got a GoFundMe, I mean she not raising $500,000 on GoFundMe, like the kid Carmelo Anthony who stabbed and killed the white kid. That's what I mean when I say she not gonna have a GoFundMe. Her family's not going to get a GoFundMe. And to be honest, the 40,000 is probably, well, the military should bury her. But maybe if the family want to have a separate burial or something, that's probably all that money right there gone. Funeral home, casket, all that gone. But I think the military should take care of her services. But I know some people like to have their own stuff outside of the formal military service. Regardless of that, their goal was only 20,000. They didn't do nothing for her in the grand scheme of things, as far as donations are concerned. But let's go to how she tragically lost her life. This young woman, I'm assuming she's promising, right? She's in the military. You had to be good to be in the military. It doesn't appear that she has any negative background. People love her. Obviously, her sister is devastated. All her family is devastated. And she died at the hands of some illegal aliens, probably drunk on a jet ski. Two fat Mexicans drunk on a jet ski illegally in this country done ran this woman over who's serving this country. And they tried to flee. Look at the clip.
Breaking news here at 5. Attorney General Ken Paxton says 2 undocumented immigrants have been arrested in the death of 18-year-old Ava Moore.
Stop calling them undocumented immigrants. You're not a mother freaking immigrant if you are in this country illegally. That's not called immigrant. You're an invader. They should say illegal invaders. You're not an immigrant. An immigrant migrated here through the channels that qualifies them as an immigrant. You did not come. You invaded the country. When are we going to start talking the truth? Roll the clip.
And Moore was the young woman struck and killed while kayaking at Lake Grapevine on Sunday. You've probably heard about this by now. Marissa Armas has been working on the story all day, and we've gotten some new details that just came down in the last half hour as well. Marissa, what's going on?
Hold on. Before Marissa talk, let me give you a warning. She finna do that Mexican Spanish thing where they talking normal and then they go, it's like, ma'am, just say Gonzalez. You already said everything else in English. We were talking here today with Romero Carreras. It's like, what are you talking about? And stop. Speak English. You've been speaking English the whole interview, and you want to put the stank on it. All right, roll the clip.
Yeah, this information just came down in the last 30 minutes, but Attorney General Ken Paxton says that the woman who was arrested earlier today is an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela. He also says that the man that helped her get away...
Stop. Listen, today, Glenn Paxton said she was a person from Venezuela. Like, did you have to say Venezuela like that? Just say Venezuela. You said everything else in English, and then you said Venezuela in Spanish. All right, it's not about her, but it irritates the living daylight out of me when people do this. Roll the clip.
Is also undocumented. Now, in a statement, he did say in part that Ava Moore's senseless death was caused by an illegal alien who should have never been in the country in the first place. My heart breaks for Ava's family and friends, and my prayers are with them as they face this tragedy. My office will continue to work with local, state, and national law enforcement partners to secure justice for Ava. And as we mentioned earlier today, the Texas Game Wardens and Grapevine Police Department announced that they had arrested Daikerlin Alejandra Gonzalez Gonzalez, the suspect that they believe is tied to the death of Moore. As we report on...
You know when you say arrest, you can say that's like Spanish. Arrest. Arrestado. She should be in Telemundo. Arrestado. And welcome back to being English speaker. Like, where's the accent at when you talking regular? I know people that's heavily, like, English is their second language or third language. They sound like they speak in Spanish when they say English. And when they roll them R's and they do all that, it's just natural. This woman is speaking like a white lady, and then she goes straight to Venezuela. Roll the clip.
Sunday, Moore was kayaking at Lake Grapevine when police say that she was struck and killed by a jet ski with 2 women on it. Authorities spent the last few days searching for the driver of that jet ski, as well as the man who helped her get away.
Just a lot of sadness and anger that someone would leave her and not make sure she's okay. I think that's the hardest thing, because she always made sure everyone was okay. She never left a place without making sure you were okay.
She was passionate. If she believed in something, you were not changing her mind. No matter how right you thought you were, she was always going to be right. And then just her ability to just enjoy and love everybody.
And Ava's coach and teammate tell me that she was a natural leader. She had just graduated from Prep Academy on the 19th. She was actually just here visiting family. Friends have set up a GoFundMe account to help the family with funeral expenses. And again, this is a very fluid situation, so we'll bring you more information as we get it. In Grapevine, Marissa Armas.
Oh, she finna do it again. But maybe the girl was in the academy, Nick. Yeah, so she wasn't quite a cadet.
No, she wasn't. When you're in the academy, you're a cadet.
But are you officially?
Yes. Well, technically.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so when you're in the, some people are on like a contingent job, not a contingent job offer, but they're like on probation. Yeah. So while you're in a certain probationary period, you're not fully supported. That may be why they're doing the GoFundMe, because the military may not cover a cadet or somebody who's in the academy, get full military benefits. They probably have to graduate the academy first, right? That may be why they're doing that GoFundMe. I was like, I hope they're not out here grifting. You know what I mean? Yeah, the military covered that, but I just saw that she was in the academy. That makes sense, because that's why she played basketball. Go back one second. I got to hear this Mexican lady do this stupidity again.
So we'll bring you more information.
Look how clear her English is. I mean, she speaks English better than, I don't know, the founding fathers. I mean, go ahead.
And again, this is a very fluid situation, so we'll bring you more information as we get it. In Grapevine, Marissa Armas, CBS News, Texas.
Oh, she said she didn't go all full. But Texas. Marissa Armas, Texas. Arrestado. Anyway, she should have did that in Spanish. Anyway, it's not about her. It's sad that these illegals, but we got video of them trying to escape too. So after they did the crime, they probably was drunk. That's why they running and trying to flee. They probably was drinking and doing something they not supposed to. How do you run over and kill a person kayaking? You had to been flying. You had to been flying, because I'm sure she see them coming if they not going that fast. You know, you're going like 20 miles per hour or something. She probably see them coming and try to dodge a little bit. They probably hauling acorns, flying 40, and then ran that girl over and killed her. And her future was brighter than theirs. Why she die? Why can't they be dead? That's one thing. I love the Lord, but Lord, sometimes this stuff don't be making no sense. These two ignorant folk who don't have a purpose in life, they done snuck in this country, and you know they ain't good people because after they kill the girl, they run. I wouldn't fit if they were illegally in this country, they killed a girl and they stayed there and was like checking on her and trying to help her. Then it would just be an accident, right? But they left her to die, and then they fled the scene. Why are you fleeing the scene when you should be there to talk to the police? Because you're illegally in the country. Come on, give them the death penalty. Hang them. Hanging. We need to bring hanging back. Get them out there, hang them up there, and let the whole world look at them, and let the fowls of the air chew away at them. I'm just going off of what they did in the Bible. I ain't saying nothing crazy. They did in the Bible. They would crucify people in the Bible. They put Jesus up there and tried to let the animals eat at him. Why can't we? What happened to that? If it's good for them, it's good for us. All right. Let's roll it. Roll it.
Sí, pero él también porque se puede llevar, ya la tomé ya.
They shouldn't be in our country.
Mia. You're stupid. Yeah, you're not going anywhere. No. Y'all stay here. Ven, no te metas tú. No te vayas, no mames.
Probably can't speak no English. What are they doing? So we can fast forward through this, but what happened was they catch him out there. People are trying to stop him. They running around. People trying to fight him, and then they get to the escape vehicle right here, full of Coronas. They drunk. Look, she's drunk.
Amor, las placas del carro de este enfrente. Las placas del carro.
No English.
Hey, cálmate, ya va. La policía aquí ve. Pero ya va a tomar. ¿Cómo va a tomar si está diciendo que se va a escapar? No mames. Ya le tomé fotos a la placa.
And so somebody then put them in the car, they let them escape the scene, but they ended up getting caught. I don't know what to say, man. Like, if I was in somebody else's country, I'd be on my best behavior. All right. So Greg Abbott, the governor, not Glenn Paxton, Ken Paxton. But Greg Abbott said, welcome to Texas. Here's your death penalty. I'm hoping that he put them to death for this. And I'm not hoping because I want them to die. I just want the law to be applied. People that got put to death throughout the years. The law is the law. Why do they get to skirt the law? Come on, man. Like, it ain't gonna stop people from doing it. I mean, they get drunk and then they're gonna do it again. They can be running on killing people every day. The problem that makes it a lot more spicy is that they have no business being in our country in the first place. They shouldn't even be here. We shouldn't even be having this conversation because they don't know how to act when they get here. So why are they here? Go back to your country and get drunk and run over people. You in America, you better straighten your act up or you're going to get a death penalty. All righty. Was there something else we wanted to cover? All right, I'm still looking. We were gonna do that little survey at some point to set it up to where you guys can give some feedback on things you want to hear me cover. All right, let's look at the Christians getting harassed in Seattle, which I'm not shocked. I don't even know if they have a church in Seattle. It's like one Christian church in the whole of all of Seattle. All right, let's go to that clip real quick. So some Christians get accosted by these blue-haired devils. Let me tell you this. On campus at Turning Point USA, I try to be on my best behavior. The Lord is my witness. If I'm ever in public and these fools act like this against me, I'm gonna turn it into a sleepover. It's gonna be a bunch of people sleeping. I may actually bring a couple pillows so they can all go to sleep together. I have zero tolerance for this stuff. Like when I was at Turning Point, I was like, Brandon, if you start knocking people out, which I was really willing and ready and capable and justified by doing. If you start knocking these people out, Turning Point will never invite you to another event. You'll never be able to do stuff on campus again, and it'll shame the organization because people like to see you get beat up and slapped and spit on. They don't like to see you fight back. I'm talking about people at the top. All of y'all would have had my back. These people were so weak and cowardice, I could have dropped all of them by myself. The little weenie on the bike, I could have dropped that one. I didn't have to ball my fist. I could have just backhand that one on the bike, and that would have been one. And I could have went one by one and lined them up, and they all would have been out there with their sign on top of them, snoring and snorting and gargling. That's what they deserved. Why did I say that? Because they were assaulting and attacking people. And I'm so sick of this. Watching people just let them do it. If they protesting, they protesting, bro. I mean, I don't care. You can call me the N-word. I don't care what you're doing. But when you're putting your hands and slapping and hitting people, can you please defend yourself? They will never, I guarantee you when I'm on campus, they'll never do that again. Not when I'm on campus. Because next time, I don't think it's gonna be. I ain't gonna be that nice next time. Because I'm gonna look up the laws in the state. Because technically in California, I could have conducted a citizen's arrest. If the cops wasn't gonna arrest him, I could have arrested the one that was on that bike that was closest to me. Disorderly conduct, threats and intimidation, assault, theft of property, and damage of property. That's 5 misdemeanor charges. And then if they're using violence to push a political agenda, that's a domestic terrorist organization. That's a felony charge. And they're doing it, and I would argue they're doing it because I was black. And I'm a black conservative. They doing it. They arrest racism. They violate my civil rights. Take him to jail. All right, let's roll this clip real quick. She got her baby. Look, the kids crying.
Back up, back up. Hey, don't touch me. Get the kid out of here. Get the child out of here.
Oh my goodness. All right, this is the you know, if you ever had a dream about, and I hope y'all don't dream about going to hell, But if you have a vision of hell, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be these same people in there arguing and screaming at each other. That's what it's going to look like. A bunch of blue-haired devils in there, just straight in hell. God-hating, evil, perverse people. Most of these people are that way. And some of it could be because of mental illness. But this is what they all about, man. You can feel the negative, sinful, evil energy of these people when you're at these events. You can feel the energy of the lack of spirituality and acknowledgement of God. It's like a spirit on them. You can feel it. And they got an expected end. And I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of watching these people act like this. You know, I wouldn't go to their protests and be arguing with them, but anyway, we got another clip. Roll it.
Russell Johnson is the lead pastor of the Pursuit Northwest Church, and he helped organize both events in Seattle, and he joins us now. Pastor, it's good to see you tonight. Tell us what you saw and heard when things began to develop into chaos and unrest.
Yeah, you know, it was crazy. It started on Saturday with a worship event in Cal Anderson Park. And that event has, of course, been labeled by the media as some sort of anti-LGBT type rally, and it wasn't. That event offered free haircuts to kids, free bike giveaways, free groceries for the community, free prayer for people who were in need of it, and then it also incorporated a worship element at the end of that outreach, and that was when we were swarmed by hundreds of Antifa militants. And I'll only correct one thing in the reporting of your story. They weren't throwing water balloons. They were throwing water balloons filled with urine at Christians who stood in the park and were assaulted for the high crime of worshiping Jesus in a public space. So that happened on Saturday, and then the mayor followed it up. An hour after that event ended, police officers were hospitalized, good church people were injured. He followed that up with a press statement blaming the church for the violence and saying that we are advocating values that are antithetical to Seattle's values.
Yeah.
So at that moment,
Pastor,
I decided...
Yeah, Pastor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but a local Fox reporter spoke to one of the protesters to give viewers some context about where they're coming from, about what exactly they took issue with. Check this out.
Today was a very good example of two sides of people trying to be heard. On one side, I saw a lot of hatred. These people that tell us they love us are showing us the opposite.
She's dressed like a rabbit with a slit eye thing. I don't really get that, but you heard her point that you guys hate them. They feel put upon, and they were just expressing themselves.
Yeah, you know, Antifa is made up of petulant children who are grievance mongers, who decide to perpetuate violence against people that they disagree with. And of course, in a place like Seattle, they are coddled and supported by people like Mayor Bruce Harrell. Their voices are amplified by liberal news outlets like the Seattle Times. And in doing so, it creates a perfect storm that results in violence against people of faith, police officers, and others. And so after the mayor put out his statement and blamed us for the violence, I said we're taking the rally to the front steps of City Hall. And that's exactly what we did on Tuesday. And similar things happened. Antifa was out in force. They bloodied and beat up good church people who stood in line to try to get into a rally to sing hymns and worship songs and pray for the direction of the city. And the mayor put out a second statement, even worse than the first. And he said, well, the only reason you're rallying at City Hall is because you are opposed to the idea that I am biracial. I mean, it's a clown show with these leftist agitator-supporting politicians who are so out of touch with, I think, a wide swath of their constituents. And I think Mayor Bruce Harrell terminated his political career by releasing those statements. There was a show of force. Thousands came out to City Hall.
Yeah, well, I scanned the crowd in the videos that I got access to, and it was a very diverse crowd. I mean, I don't understand the biracial comment at all, because there seemed to be a lot of Hispanic folks there. There were some African American folks, white people, young, old, a lot of families. Part of what the rally was about, I thought, was the concern about the transgenderizing our youth, correct? Wasn't that part of it?
Yeah, and it included testimonies from parents. It included testimonies from people who have detransitioned after succumbing to trans ideology. And it was shared in the context of uplifting, hopeful. God can change anything. Jesus has the power to transform your life. So it wasn't this, Westboro Baptist hateful rhetoric. It was people sharing a hopeful, optimistic outlook on what it looks like when God begins a work in your life.
Are Christians welcome in Seattle, in your view, to publicly express their views if they're traditionally held?
No, clearly not. And in fact, the mayor put that in his statement. He said in the future, he is going to deny religious groups the ability to pull permits to hold similar worship-themed events in public places.
Well,
which
he
is,
said
by
he's
the
a
way,
Christian.
now.
Yeah, but he says, look, I'm a Christian, and he said First Amendment rights do
Say
need
it.
to be
Say it,
upheld,
preacher.
and that's why
He
you were
ain't
able
no
to go to
Christian.
the park. That was
Say it.
A park that had been dedicated in some way to the LGBTQ cause, and that kind of made them upset. But you got the permit to do it where you did it, and it wasn't even your first choice. I know that's too much information for most people, but he's pushing back on you. He said they did get to speak, they did have 2 rallies, and now they're whining about it, basically.
Yeah, after Antifa hospitalized people, after people got hit in the face with urine-filled balloons, after Antifa members performed lewd sex acts in front of children getting free haircuts, yes, after paying a massive price for the high crime of exercising our First Amendment rights, yes, we were allowed to have some sort of event. And the mayor is so out of touch with the people. And you're right, that rally was super diverse, because here's what happened. When we announced that we were taking this to the front steps of City Hall, I got inundated with emails and texts and DMs from people who are not Christian and not conservative, who were outraged at the mayor's response, who said, you know what, we're going to come stand with Christians at City Hall because we believe in the First Amendment.
Well, this is what Seattle voted for. So you had the demilitarized zone, you had the Chaz, you had all this stuff. This is what the people of Seattle voted for. It's a beautiful city, spectacular natural resources, beautiful. But this cannot continue. Pastor, thank you for sharing your story. We'll stay on this.
Hey, I like that, Pastor. I don't know what he preach at his church, but I like what he had to say right there. I wanna real quick put a picture up of this guy, Bruce Harrell. Bruce, Harrell. Just put Bruce Harrell picture. Because he said something about him being black. I looked him up just right now and I said, I want to see what this, that's him right there. I want to see what this guy look like. I said, I got to see what Bruce Harrell looked like. Because he's talking about something about being black. And when we look him up, this is what the man looked like. He looked like he's straight out of the island of Hawaii. Okay. What, or Samoa, he's a Tongan or something. He black. Who in your family black? Look at him. He gonna make me turn to Joe Biden. And you ain't black. Bro, you ain't black. Everybody like to carry that black thing. You got one person in your bloodline that was black 300 years ago. And now you claim you black. Bro, you look Asian. What are you talking about? You look Asian or Samoan or like Hawaiian. You are not black. Why do people use that black card? I thought he was a black man. I was like, I ain't know Seattle elected a black man. They'll never elect well, I ain't gonna say they'll never do it. They'll never elect no black man with some common sense. But anyway, comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. I love you guys. I'm out of here.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't